Hi everyone, my name is Michaela Bennett, and today I will be showing you guys my weather and climate journal on Lima, Peru compared to Huntington, West Virginia. Here you can see we have a physical geography map of Lima, Peru and Huntington, West Virginia. By looking at Lima, you can see that it's on the central western coast of Peru, which is along the Pacific Ocean on a narrow coastal desert strip. East of Lima are the Andes Mountains, and further east is the Amazon Basin. Lima, Peru sits between the ocean and the high mountains. Huntington, West Virginia, on the other hand, is not near an ocean at all, but it is right beside the Ohio River. Huntington is a part of the Appalachian region, so there are a lot of mountains, valleys, and rivers, and Allegheny plateaus. To compare the two, Lima is on the Pacific coast, which is right above the tropics and lying against the Andes, while Huntington is filled with lots of mountains and has a more variety of topography, but there are no oceans, but is beside the Ohio River. Lima has a latitude of 12.0467 degrees south, while Huntington has a latitude of 38.42 degrees north. This actually means that we are on two different hemispheres, Lima being in the southern hemisphere and Huntington being in the northern hemisphere. Lima's elevation above sea level is about 161 meters or 528 feet, and Huntington's elevation above sea level is 172 meters or 564 feet. The climate in Lima is pretty mild and dry with very little rainfall and is often foggy with small temperature variations. Huntington, on the other hand, experiences every season, so they have warm summers, cold winters, and it rains throughout the whole entire year. Since Lima and Huntington are in different hemispheres, they have different Köppen climate classifications. Huntington has a humid subtropical climate zone, while Lima has a hot desert climate zone. Though they're in different hemispheres and climate zones, Lima's only 1 hour behind Huntington. With Lima being so close to the equator and in a different hemisphere, it makes their precipitation a lot different than ours. Starting with Huntington, we can see how May is the month with the most precipitation, being 5 inches. In July, we have the hottest temperature of about 80 degrees, and in January, we have the lowest temperature of almost 0 degrees in Fahrenheit. If we take a look at Lima, we can see that their highest precipitation is in February of only 1.6 inch. Their temperatures don't really vary, but in February, they have a highest temperature of about 72 degrees and a low in August or July of 62 degrees Fahrenheit. First, we're going to analyze Lima, where on the left we have our 7-day forecast, and on the right we have our weather radar. In the first week, there's just a little bit of cloudiness, and we can see that it sprinkled one day, which if you look to the right, it's only 0.1 inch of rain. Going down to week 3, we see the same thing where it was just cloudy, and on Sunday it rained 0.2 to 0.4 inch of rain. Looking at week 1 of Huntington's 7-day forecast, we see it rained a lot. And to the right on our radar and precipitation graph, we can see that the purple and the blue shows the rain coming in. Compared to Lima, Huntington's rain was greater than 0.8 of an inch. Looking down at week 3, I took this screenshot on a sunny day, so there was no rain at this time, but it was forecasted to rain throughout the week, but lots of sun show. Looking at the live satellite map screenshots from week 1 in both Lima and Huntington, we can see there was a lot of low pressure to create the clouds. On the other hand, there was a lot less clouds, so the pressure was definitely higher around week 3 in both Lima and Huntington. Here we get to take a look at Lima's sun elevation, where we started off taking our very first screenshot on week 1 during equinox, and since the seasons are different for Lima, it was actually not at the sun's peak, so week 3, it's been more time, so the sun is now higher in the sky rather than week 1. The sun is out 8 minutes longer than it was in week 1. Also make note how we see that the sun is rising at 5:47 a.m. Huntington, on the other hand, although we started at equinox, gets less light as time goes by now. From week 1 to 3, we actually get 30 less minutes of sunlight. This means for us, the sun's lower in the sky since it's about to be winter, but it's about to be summer for Lima, that's why it's rising higher in the sky for them. And since it's Lima's spring going into summer, that's why they have earlier sunrises now compared to us, where our sunrise is going down since it's about to be fall and winter for us. We can then take a look at our wind graphs, where on the left side, we see Lima in week 1 versus week 3, where the wind is going clockwise over the ocean, which that means it's pretty weak compared to the counterclockwise motion over the land that tells us the wind is more strong over top of land. For Huntington's week 1 and 3, the wind is just going in all directions, and there's some strong winds and some weaker winds. Finally, we get to take a look at the temperatures, where if we look from week 1 versus week 3 in both categories, the temperatures are almost the same, but week 1 is just slightly a little bit hotter for both Lima and Huntington. Temperatures are about 74 to 77 degrees, but one cool thing we can notice is that by looking at the temperatures close to Lima and Huntington, we can kind of predict what temperature it will be for them next. From week 1 to week 3 of Lima, I can see that the hotter temperatures are kind of moving towards Lima, which is on point for this because it's about to be summer for them. For Huntington, I can see some red along the lower states in the US, and then week 3, that red kind of moves out, giving us cooler temperatures, which makes perfect sense for fall going into winter.